So we are live. This is Israel Silva, financial champion. Thank you for joining us. We are in the 2024 budget challenge. Say that with me, budget challenge. What does that mean? We want to challenge you to create a budget with us. And this budget will lead you to reaching your epic financial goal. Not just a regular financial goal, an epic financial goal. What is that? It may be paying off your house. Well, that's epic. Paying off your car or buying a car, cash, that's epic. It may be saving for that down payment on the house. That's another epic financial goal. We want to help you reach that. It may be also paying off your debt, $5,000 in credit card, 10,000, whatever that is. You need a budget to reach that, to achieve that goal. So this is the budget challenge. This is part 2 of the budget challenge. We had one last week. If you missed last week's video, you can find it on financialchampion.net or go to our YouTube channel and just search for Financial Champion. Again, my name is Israel Silva, and we want to help you reach your financial goals. And we have a community we've developed and we're building, just starting off, kicking off 2024 with the Financial Champion community. We'd love to have you join us. So here's our webinar. We're going to walk you through an 8-step process. We started this last week and continuing it on. So here we're going to go. We're going to talk about our 4 classes. Last week was our first one, January the 6th. And we have this class and 2 others in January. And then in February, we'll start our community. We're going to give you a free webinar for 4 classes. And then if you want to join our community, you can continue the classes in a smaller paid group where we'll have, more questions, dive deeper into it. But for now, this is a webinar. You don't have to pay anything just to join us, and it just costs your time. So let's go into what we're going to talk about. What we want to do is we want to talk about your goals and reaching your goals. So that's what we're looking at doing is 2024, reaching your financial goals. Now, one thing I've learned is that a year is too long to set a goal. It's your mind's like, oh, that's such a long time. But like a week or a month is too short. So what I've learned from a lot of different books and a lot of studies I've read about that 90 days, like a season, is a good time to set a goal. That season. So you set a goal for that season. And so we're trying to set an epic financial goal. And so you may have part 1 to that goal, part 2, part 3, part 4. That's what we're trying to do. Now, these goals could be things like your emergency fund. We should have a minimum of $1,000. Great to have 6 to 9 months. And if you're a business owner, maybe you need 1 to 2 years of an emergency fund. You also want to set your clear financial goals. Maybe that's one of the things that you want to do is figure out your planning, your house, your car, your retirement, your career, how much money you want to make, income. The budget is a tool. It is not the destination. It is a tool that you can use. And we're going to just help you create that tool. So reducing debt is an important thing. Investing for growth, investing to better yourself, add more value to the marketplace, which when you add more value, you become more valuable. And guess what? They pay you more. And so investing in yourself is important. Investing in other things like real estate and the stock market. Those are other things. We're going to tell you how to create a budget to find money to do those things. So that is the goal. What is your epic goal? We are now going to show you our 8-step process. No, I didn't create this myself. I give all the credit to Dr. Jane McGonigal. She is the author of Super Better. Like in Back to the Future, Doc Brown hits his head and then he comes up with a flex capacitor. Well, Dr. Jane, she hit her head, got a concussion, and through that time of recovery, she was going through a really bad spell. This concussion can cause a lot of chemical imbalances, and she was basically thinking about suicide and taking her life. I mean, seriously taking her life. And she is a doctor in, guess what? Game theory. So she created a game out of getting out of this depression, out of helping herself to get better. So she named it Super Better. Now, I'm using this methodology, added an additional step to her 7 steps, so it's now 8 steps, to make this challenge. And so it's a proven method. Her methodology is used a lot on mental health, and I'm trying to use it for changing behavior on your finances. So that's really the big difference here. I've actually talked to her CEO, and great company, superbetter.com. You can learn more over there. Now, we're using just a framework, and there's the 8 steps. We talked about step 1, challenge yourself, and step 2, set an epic goal last week. And basically, to sum it up, first, you have to accept the challenge. So you have to actually join this challenge. You have to be here. You have to say, I'm going to do this. That is the hardest thing to do, is to say, I'm going to get on the boat. I'm going to play the game. And then the second thing is, now I have to decide on what is my epic goal. I just gave you a few examples: paying off the house, paying off the car, paying off credit card debt. There's so many things that you can make epic in your life. But one thing I've learned is you have to focus. You have to focus your attention. Otherwise, you can't do things. You're chasing too many rabbits, as my wife always tells me. My wife, Monica, helps me teach in the Financial Champion. And so we want to help you focus and give you this framework that you can learn from. So steps 1 and 2, we talked about that last week. Today, we are going to talk about steps 3 and 4. Steps 3 is complete activities and a quest. Activities and a quest. That's your step 3. Step 4 is to defeat the villains. And really, you have to identify the villains and then defeat the villains. So we're going to talk about that in this class day. We have 4 other steps to go. So join us for the next 2 weeks. We'll be talking about those. So again, this is a methodology that I think really will help you. It gives us a way to win and not make this a game of creating the budget, a game that you can learn how to improve your finances. And guess what? You don't have to do this by yourself. All right, next step, rule 3, complete activities and challenges. And I want to talk about what a quest is. Let's define that for a second, because I was trying to get this in my mind and wrap my head around this. And a quest is when you have a search. You're searching for something. You're on a journey. You're seeking something, whether you're searching for knowledge or on a journey to become something. Think about if you're a doctor, you're a medical doctor. Well, that is a journey to become a medical doctor. You have to go to, your regular school, elementary, middle school, high school, college, and then you go to medical school, and then you get a residency. There is a journey, and that is a quest to become a medical doctor. And in the same way, if you want to become a millionaire, and you say you have $0 in net worth, and you want to have a net worth of $1 million, that is a journey. That is a quest. That is something you have to search and seek the knowledge and change of behaviors, whatever you need to do to be that. And I like the way Jim Rohn said it. He said, become a millionaire, not for the $1 million, but what it will make of you to become a millionaire. That means, what is it going to make of you? What do you have to change about your behavior, your personality, your characteristics? What do you have to change to become a millionaire? Yes, you can win the lottery, but most lottery winners within 5 years are broke or worse off. So become a millionaire, not for the $1 million, but what it will make of you. And that's the same thing, a quest. Take the quest for what it will make of you. And that's what we're trying to do. You're going to create quest. You're going to create activities. That's the activities or the task needed to complete the quest. So let's say we want to be debt free. That's our quest. I want to be a person who lives debt free. To live debt free, now you have to become a person who doesn't depend on credit cards or taking loans out from people. And there's certain tasks. First of all, you have to get out of debt to stay out of debt. And so the first task may be to pay off your credit cards, your school loans, your home payment. And I'm not saying that you have to live always without debt. I mean, I have a mortgage on my home, which I intend to pay in 5 to 7 years. I'm trying to work on that. But, and I had college debt from loans I took. It was a small amount, but it still was something that took me several years to pay off. And so there's sometimes you have to take these large debts, but you can try to live your lifestyle where you don't depend on debt, especially not on a month-to-month basis. So the activities and quests, that's one thing that I want you to focus on. Again, I'm just introducing these concepts to you, and you'll dive deeper into them in the Financial Champion community. And I hope you can join us for that. But just to give you an idea of what to do here, think about how it really comes back to your goals. We're not doing a one-on-one session, so I can only give you examples. But the budget challenge is, how do I create a budget that's going to help me reach my financial goal? So an example, let's say I want to pay off my house. And 3 months, I said that's what we're trying to make these challenges in, is not enough, right? 3 months is not enough. So then you say, okay, I owe 150,000 on my house. Obviously, you're not going to pay that off in 3 months, not likely. But what can you do in 3 months? What can you do, and how can you budget? Change your budget. This is the budget challenge. We have other challenges, the income challenge, the debt-free challenge. We have other different challenges on what to focus on. But this particular challenge is on how we can create a budget that will help us reach our goal, our epic goal. So I want you to think about it. Some of the things we have to realize is we have to realize who we are. And that's really a big part of it. How we think about money. We each have different personalities. So some of the tasks you have to do is you have to learn what your money language is. My wife, Monica, and I, we've taught classes on this. You can find this on our YouTube channel, and I'll be adding more to our financialchampion.net website. But there's 4 money languages. I'm not going to get into detail here. But number 1's the driver. You are someone who gets things done fast, quick, but you don't want a lot of complicated things. You want it simple, and you drive, so you get things done. So for you, a budget with 5 categories would be really good. Food, expense, food, living, transportation, the basics. My wife is a driver. Just give me 5 categories. I'll figure it out. Second one is the analytic. The analytic is a planner. It's okay if I have 40 categories in my budget. Hey, I'm an analytic. I'm sorry. It's okay. That's what makes me feel good, that I've got all the details covered. So that type of person is going to want a budget that has some details. The third one is the amiable. The amiable is a person who just loves quality time. Money is to have fun with other people. I spend it however I need it to have that quality time. We need that vacation to Disney World. We need that vacation to Disney World, whatever it costs. I don't care if we have to put ourselves in debt, $20,000. We need that. You see how the personalities will change how you work with money, your relationship with money. Number 4 is the expressive. That is basically, I have status. Money gives me status. Status gives me respect, and that's why I do it. My wife, Monica, she came up with some different personas. So if you think about drivers, she said, build that wall. Former President Donald Trump, she said he's a driver. Sometimes they don't think things through. That's a driver. And you can kind of see that. Number, like build a wall. I don't think they actually built it for us. Mexico didn't pay for it. Number 2 is analytics. Who's an analytic? I like to think Bill Gates, the guy's analytical, PC versus the Mac. That PC guy, very analytical, and Bill Gates wants to save the world with his money and try to help, eliminate things like diseases and whatnot and cancer, which I'm all for it. He's going to do it in a very analytical way. That's a persona that you can associate with analytic. Third is the amiable, someone who's free with their money, generous. I think about Oprah Winfrey when she used to have a show. I remember she gave a car away to the audience. Each person in the audience got a car. I'm like, I want to join that audience. She was very amiable. She was very personable. Quality time. She would suggest books that she read. She would encourage people to sell their products. She would highlight books, highlight services. She just wanted to make the connection to help the people who were trying to come up and her audience get connected. So that was an amiable person. Number 4, my wife Monica always says, the Kardashians, they are expressive. All of them. They want to show you the latest car, clothes, house, all the things. And it's not to say one's better than the other. We all have a little bit of each, but you usually have a primary and a secondary. And how you have these money languages depends on how you really should create a budget. So that's one thing you need to do is figure out what is your money language and then create a budget that follows that. So if you're a driver expressive, you're someone who wants quick actions and you want to achieve it so you can buy something that's going to be a little pizzazz, a little bit so that you can show off to your friends so that, hey, I get some status. I got this saved in 3 months. I've got my, whatever nice purse you might have, or I bought this nice fishing rod, whatever that is. So that is the challenge. That's the express. Those are 4 money languages. And your goal, one of the activities you have is to figure out and identify your money language and then identify how you create a budget that goes along with your money language. So again, these are some of the activities you need to take. Identify your money language, create a budget that works with your money language. That means you have to, if you're a driver, you're not going to have a whole bunch of categories. Know yourself and then find an accountability partner. We'll be talking about that further in this challenge when you team up with people, you get your allies. But right now, we're moving to point 4. And rule number 4 is to defeat villains. Number 4, defeat villains means you first have to identify who is the villain, who is, what is, how is, whatever that thing, person, place, habit that keeps you from creating the budget. What is that will hinder you or hold you back? That is what you have to think about. And so think about these really, really quickly. It could be your environment. It could be a trigger. It could be relationships. It could be events. It could be habits. I really want you to think about that. Environment means I could be in the shopping mall and well, I'm in the shopping mall. I guess I have to buy something. Triggers could be I'm triggered because an emotion, maybe it could be fear, it could be embarrassment, it could be anger. And because of that, I'm going to do that. Maybe you had sad news, you got, let go from work and you're going to go and spend money on something. That was a trigger. Relationships, maybe you hang around people who are not very good with their money and they spend frivolously and they carelessly and you just happen to be around them. So yeah, I'm going to go to this 5-star restaurant that's $100 for a piece of lettuce. Well, if you're around those people, you're going to spend like them. So relationships make a difference. Events make a difference. Concert, holidays, rodeo, whatever it is, I'm going to spend that money because I want to be at that event. Those things can make you spend money. And habits. I just always do this. I just always every morning go to that coffee place and spend $7. It's just a habit. So these are your villains. Identify the villains. Figure out what is holding you back. What is going to prevent you from creating a budget, creating the tool, using the tool. So that's you keep that in focus. Creating a budget is, people say, can you make a budget fun? Yes, that's what we're talking about now. Using this challenge, using this framework to make a budget fun. And we have a lot more steps to go, but I want you to realize that it doesn't have to be done alone. And that is why we formed Financial Champion and the Financial Champion community. We don't want you to do this alone. We want to provide a safe place where you can talk about finances. And yes, it is a subscription-based community. It's $15 a month. We're not trying to make ourselves multimillionaires right now. We're trying to help people. And we need somewhere, I found out like $15 is a good cutoff where people who are just stalking and just kind of creeping, as they call, they won't pay $15 to go into that community. So we're trying to that. We have an application process. But what we're trying to do is help you help others. And Financial Champions, they help take their finances to the next level and they help others do the same. And that's really what we're looking for in this community. And what I'm trying to do in this webinar is introduce you to the framework that we're using in our community. This really works and it really is fun when you can do this with other people. You don't have to do this alone. And sitting down and talking to people about things that hold me back. We had one conversation where a person told me, hey, I'm retired and I have a limited, income, but I go on these trips. I love these trips we take we get on the bus and we go to these different places, but I always go to this particular bus, truck stop, or, I won't say the name, but it's got a big beaver running around, and they go and they walk in and they just seem to spend money go to the restroom, get the money spent, and then come back and go, oh my, I spent $75. And I have every trip I go on, I spend $75 to $100. Now, we talked about it. And what she said, she identified the villain. She said, this is the, bus stop villain, the bus stop trap. And she said, how do I do this? So she created a strategy on how to defeat this villain. And basically, she told herself, I'm going to create my own snacks. So I don't have to buy anything. And then she said, when the bus stops, I want to walk in and I'm going to say this mantra to myself. There is nothing in this store that I have to buy. There is nothing in this store. She put her hands into her pockets and walked straight to the restroom while saying, there is nothing in the store that I need to buy. And she used the restroom and she came back and walked out. There's nothing in the store I need to buy. By doing that, she defeated the villain that was sucking out $75 to $100 every time she went. So once or twice a week, a month. And so that really is what you're doing. You have to identify the villain, give them a name, and create a strategy to defeat them. So the thing about when you're creating a budget or a spending plan, what is the thing that holds you back? What is something you need to apply? You need to apply some time, right, to create a spending plan. To create a budget, you have to think, you have to go review your bank account. Look at your credit card statements if you have credit cards. Figure out where you spend your money and then list it. So you're going to list all your expenses, your income and all the expenses, your utilities, and put them down on paper. Create a quickie budget. It's not too complicated, but it takes what? Time. And so what is the thing hindering you? What are the villains that keep you from spending time on this? Again, it could be TV shows. It could be people that you hang out with and you spend too much. They take too much of your time. You've got to set some boundaries and realize that time can only be spent once. Like $1 can only be spent once. So it's spent. Your hour can only be spent once. And if you really want to win in this challenge, you have to make the commitment to spend the time. So what are your time wasters, the things that eat your time up, and they're not the best use of your time? Like for me, I'm in Houston, Texas, and I love our teams, the Astros, the Texans, and go Texans, but I really don't have the time to spend on watching all the games. It can be 3 hours every week, and it's tough. So I catch the highlights and I cheer them on. But again, it's just not the best use of my time to do that because I have other goals, like doing this video for you, doing this challenge. And so that's what I'm trying to do, is invest my time in the best use of helping people. And it's nothing wrong with watching sports. It's entertainment. Just understand what it is. But it can be a villain if you spend too much of your time on it. This is something you have to decide, and only you can decide. But in this framework, one of the rules is to identify the villain, create a strategy to defeat it, and act on it. So that's what you're going to do. Defeat the villain that's going to hinder you from your epic goal. Well, that is rules 3 and 4. We do have 4 more rules. We're going to go over rule number 5 and rule number 6. Rule 5 is collect and activate power-ups. Collect and activate the power-ups. And rule number 6 is to recruit your allies. Well, you have villains. You're going to have allies. It's just like the Justice League, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, all these other people are the superheroes. And so there's 4 more rules we'll talk about. But next week is collect and activate power-ups and recruit your allies. We hope you'll join us for that next week. You can sign up for the webinar to get an advance notice, or you can just come back to our YouTube channel. And don't forget to subscribe so you can get a notice that the next video. But you can you can also register, and we'll send you an email to remind you at financialchampion.net/challenge. And we're having these classes next week, and I'm shooting for 10 a.m. Central, and hopefully you can get on and join us. Also wanted to show you real quick our website and let you see how that works here. Oops, got the wrong one here. So our website, and this shows financial webinar, financialchampion.net. You can go to webinar, community, assessment, and enrichment. I won't spend the time to go through all of these, but just check us out. We have an assessment here. You can learn more about your finances. We have an enrichment, which is basically a blog and resources. And we have the webinar we just talked about. And when you go there, you can register and just put your name and email address, basically all it offers us. And we have a couple of different webinars. Just go to the challenge year and hit register, and you'll be able to do that. So we hope that you'll do that and join us for the next one, Financial Champion. That's our company, and we hope you can be part of the community. And we hope to see you at our next webinar. Again, my name is Israel Silva. I hope you've enjoyed this. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you next week.